Welcome to the Pub Sports Radio NBA Pub Hub, a brand new season of the Pub Hub. It is Monday, October 18th, and this is our season premiere edition and our NBA season betting preview edition of the NBA Pub Hub show. This is Ian Cameron with you. I will be joined momentarily by my colleagues who will be right with me all season long on this show, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time. Happy to have Skee Profit back on the Pub Hub once again. Happy to have Dutch Boy Fresh back on the Pub Hub once again. And of course, we welcome in TROT, who was with us for several shows during the playoffs as last year. He will be a full-time member of the Pub Hub this season. We're going to bring them in a moment, but of course, Ian Cameron, yours truly, can't have a situation where he has a lower volume of bets. And obviously, in that case, it takes time to get through them all. So as a result, we're going to start with me solo with the win totals and all of these preseason, I guess you could say, bets that I've made. So we'll get those up on the screen right now. We'll go through them here a little bit in some rapid fire fashion as we get you ready for another NBA season. We'll start with my win totals for the upcoming year that I've bet. And you can see that there's a bunch of them right now on the screen. We'll start with talking about the Chicago Bulls. I have bet them over 42.5 wins coming into this season. When you look at the Chicago Bulls under head coach Billy Donovan, you look at what they're going to be having on this team. DeMar DeRozan, a great addition, I think, in the offseason, giving them even more scoring. Nikola Vucevic, who is a guy they acquired last year at the trade deadline. I really like the look of the starting five for this team. They, of course, get Ayo Dosunmu, the great Illinois guard, in the draft this past year. They can make an impact, be a good, backup point guard off the bench. Lonzo Ball, we'll see how it goes with him in Chicago. A bit of an enigma. Sometimes shoots the ball too much, at least for my liking, but definitely could be a solid addition here. And I think he played well down the stretch a little bit last year. So we'll see how he integrates here to this Bulls team. The lineup definitely has got a potential, no question about that. And because of the upgrades in the backcourt with not only Lonzo Ball, but DeRozan, all of a sudden, Kobe White's a guy played well at times last year, not always consistent, but you get him on the bench now for this Bulls team, and that definitely is going to improve that area of the team. In terms of bringing in Alex Caruso, I was very happy to see the Bulls bring him in. At instant defense you're going to get from him for sure on this Bulls team, which is definitely something that they lacked at times last year. I definitely like some of these personnel moves that they have made coming into the year. Of course, Zach LaVine, dynamic scorer, and we certainly saw that on display last year. So when I look at this Bulls team, I think there's improvement on the way. 82-game season. I think it's realistic to expect some improvement here. Certainly like the way their offensive numbers were. Obviously defensively, they're going to have to see some improvement from Chicago. But when you look at it, Ball, Williams, good defenders on this team coming up this season when it all gets started. So I think Chicago definitely an improved team. We'll go over 42.5 with them. Detroit Pistons, I'm on them over 24.5 this year. Kind of a buy low. There's a bunch of these teams, Cleveland, Detroit, teams that were bottom of the barrel last year that I think could be a little bit better. And I thought, which one of these do I think maybe have the best chance for some improvement this year? I think that definitely could be Dwayne Casey's team here, the Detroit Pistons. Obviously, Cade Cunningham, number 1 overall pick out of Oklahoma State. Kelly Olynyk, Trey Lyles in the offseason, bringing them in. I think, we saw how much of a step forward we saw to Jeremy Grant last year. They got him from the Denver Nuggets and had a very good year for the Pistons. So I think there's definitely the starting five that's capable. When you think Killian Hayes at the point guard spot, he's got some capability to him as well. The bench certainly has a lot of experience. The starting lineup's going to be a lot of younger players, but the bench definitely has guys that can come in and get the job done with guys like Kelly Olynyk now, who they got in the offseason, Diallo, Josh Jackson, Corey Joseph. It's just some veteran guys that can come back there and end up making an impact. And for Detroit, we're not asking them to be great. We're not asking them to be a playoff team. At 24.5 is their win. We're just asking them to win 25 games. That's the thing about betting the Pistons over their season win total. You're looking at a team here where if they're 25 and 57 this year, if that ends up being their record, guess what? You cash your bet. And that's all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for Detroit to just be all of a sudden a team that's going to challenge for the playoffs because I don't think they're there. But to be 25-win team, I think they can get there. So Pistons and more than anything, Pistons ATS this year. You might see some point spread value. Indiana Pacers over 42.5 for me this year. Look, it's going to be addition by subtraction for Indiana. The Nate Bjorkgren tenure was terrible. It was a disaster for the Pacers last year, a massively underachieving team. There was clearly a ripple going on between the coach and the players. And now you bring in a stabilizing veteran head coach here in Rick Carlisle, who's been around the block, has had success for so long with the Dallas Mavericks. You talk about those Mavs teams with Carlisle, consistent for the most part, year in and year out. Bring some stability to this Pacers team. I think his temperament and the veteran hand that he has leading as the head coaching position is going to be good for the likes of Brogdon, TJ Warren, Miles Turner, Sabonis. Now, this is more of a veteran team now, guys that have been around for years on this Pacers group. I think that's going to be good for them. I love the addition of Torrey Craig, terrific defender in the offseason, getting him. So I think you're going to see Indiana just improve all around their defense, which just fell off a cliff last year, the Pacers, with their defensive play at that end of the court. I think you're going to see improvement there, and a Pacers team that just having a guy like Carlisle there going to end up being a good thing for the Pacers. So improvement after just an absolutely disappointing year last year, and that's an understatement. So I like the Pacers over 42.5. We like the LA Clippers under, our first under win total, 46.5 this season. Really, the health of Kawhi Leonard is the main reason. He's not going to return this year. We're looking at next year now at some point when he gets back for this Clippers team. And that's a bother for me. That's a concern for me, without a doubt. And when you look at this team, we just keep waiting for them to impress. And, there's going to be a bunch of these teams in the Western Conference where how adamant and how much do these teams want to put the gas pedal down to the floor and try to win first place, or the number one seed, I should say, in the Western Conference. I'm not so sure it's there for the Clippers. It's about long term. It's about getting some playoff success. So I don't know if the wins in the regular season are going to matter as much to a team like the LA Clippers. And when you look at what this team is going to have coming into the year, the bench is still a little bit of a concern for this team. I know Serge Ibaka, the injuries are starting to catch up to him. I like Luke Kennard as a scorer, not so much defensively. Man, Batum, had a very good year in terms of shooting last year, but, I've still got question marks too about where's the depth going to come forward here for this Clippers team. I ripped on Ivica Zubac, of course, all of last year. Not a big fan of him, but I just don't know if the Clippers are going to be one of those teams that rolls through the regular season, especially a regular season where, you're not going to have Kawhi Leonard. Means a lot of the offensive burden is going to fall on Paul George throughout the course of the regular season. So I like the Clippers here, under 46.5. I like the Minnesota Timberwolves, over 35 wins this year. Really, what we saw from Minnesota was a team that really got revitalized by the coaching change last year. It was significant. Chris Finch now in his first full season, immediate improvement from the Timberwolves down the stretch. And, this team's got some serious talent on it when you look at who they've got now with the starting five. If they all stay healthy, you're looking at Anthony Edwards, who I thought was terrific in his rookie year. You got D'Angelo Russell, if he stays healthy, which we didn't see a lot of last year, but Karl Anthony Towns, same thing. There's some talent on this Timberwolves team. I thought certainly Finch got more of that group after Saunders got dismissed down the stretch last year for the Timberwolves. Again, this is a team, I think, ATS, it's going to cash some tickets for you. And I think it's also going to be a Minnesota team that, can carry over the success they had late last year. So T-Wolves over 35. How about the Pelicans? The Pelicans. Over 38 for me with the New Orleans Pelicans this year. And this is a team that's greatly underachieved. I get that. But this is a team where we're seeing their win total higher in years past. We'll have to see how the transition goes to Willie Green. And the jury's out whether he can be an effective head coach. But look, I had high hopes on Stan Van Gundy, and that was a complete disaster, unfortunately, for the Pelicans last year. But we'll have to wait and see. It's just, I think in the terms of the win total, they've been devalued enough to the point where the talent is still there on this group, in my opinion. And when you look at the additions they've made, I really love them getting Devontae Graham at point guard. I really do. I think that's going to help New Orleans a little bit this year. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Brandon Ingram, Zion, of course, uh, Jonas Valanciunas, of course, starting. Now we know his defense is a little suspect at times, but I think he can give you some points down low in the paint area. Of course, defense is where again this team just didn't make that progress consistently last year, and that's where things are going to have to get better for the Pelicans this year. But I think now with the win total now in the 30s, this is a plateau that this team can get over. So for me, Pelicans over 38. New York Knicks under 42.5. Now, I know this is a very popular one, but it's so obvious to see why there's a lot of people thinking regression is on the way for the New York Knicks. Won a lot of close games. There was I was reading something where they gave up a ton of, shots that were uncontested, and yet these opponents were just not making those shots consistently. So while the defense, everybody applauded the defense for the Knicks last year, which was better under Tom Thibodeau, no question, but a lot of things that indicate in terms of indicators that some of the stats the Knicks had last year, they won't be able to improve on them. To me, everybody's loving the Kemba Walker signing. I'm not. I mean, this is a guy that's, checked out in Boston last year at times, injuries, the whole bit, chemistry screwed up sometimes when he came back from a stint away from the team. Evan Fournier, all offense, not much defense. So, actually, this is a team that actually could, believe it or not, be an over team this year in terms of their totals in their games. Because, look, everybody saw the Knicks last year, defensive team. And now I think they're going to be probably a little bit worse defensively, not going to be able to sustain those gaudy defensive stats they had last year. And on the flip side, I think they'll score a bit better. So under for me, 42.5, though. I also think they're a bet against team. They're the number one point spread team in the regular season last year. They'll come nowhere close, in my opinion, to that this year. So Knicks under 42.5. Portland over 44.5. Look, there's a lot of questions about the personnel, if it's going to fit, and how well is Chauncey Billups going to do, in his first time as an NBA head coach. But I'll say this right now, and this is me just saying this team's better with no Terry Stotts. Simple as that. And that's why that's really why I think Portland's got some upside here this year and over 44.5 for me. Yeah, is there question marks? Yes. Yeah, can the defense improve, which never did consistently under Stotts when he was the head coach? All questions. But I think Portland now, a new voice, new face, someone that can maybe get more of this team potentially, as a respected as a player, Chauncey as well. Let's not forget that. You look at who they brought in, of course, Larry Nance, Ben McLemore, Tony Snell, their main offseason additions. The starting five, I think, if they can shore up defensively, Lillard, Powell was good since they got him from the Raptors. He played pretty well for them. CJ McCollum, you'd like to see him get more consistent. Covington, Yusuf Nurkic. It's amazing how much better this team is when he's on the floor. But too often that isn't the case. But I'm going to go with Portland still over 44.5 for improvement. Sacramento Kings over 36.5. And yeah, I realize that Luke Walton's still the head coach, and I understand that's the one thing that bothers me here when it comes to Sacramento. I just hope, it's kind of one of those situations where, look, you've built up some talent here in Sacramento. Get out of the way if you're Luke Walton and let them play, let them thrive, let them do their thing. I think hopefully that's the case. We're not talking about them being a dominant team. We're talking about 36.5 to win 37 games. So I'm taking a shot here with Sacramento here to be an improved team. You look at this roster, there's definitely some things to like here for Sacramento. It's just going to be a question of shore up the defense, keep everybody healthy. But De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, Barnes, Bagley, Rashawn Holmes. We'll see if Tristan Thompson can give them some rebounding, some defense in the low post, stay healthy too. That would be nice. But Sacramento, to me, I'll take a shot over 36.5. And the Toronto Raptors over 36.5. Look, this team's probably not, in my opinion, at least a playoff team. I don't think they will be. I think they're going to be a hard out, tough team to play, competitive night in and night out. But I think they're still not to the point where all of a sudden they're going to be less than way below 500 this year. Not with a coach like Nick Nurse, who's very quality head coach, not with what I've seen from the energy and the enthusiasm with this roster in preseason. And let's not underestimate the fact that the Toronto Raptors are going to be better just simply because of, being able to play at home this year. They got their home back. They're going to play in Toronto. The crowd is going to be on their side again, one of the good home court advantages in the NBA. That's going to help them. And somehow, some way, stable organizations find their way to success and maybe exceed expectations when there aren't many. And I think you see that here with the Raptors this year. And I think playing at home, like I'm not saying they're a playoff. In fact, I've got them outside my top 8 in the East. I think they're like ninth or 10th. I think they'll battle for a 7 or 8 spot, and I wouldn't put it past them to see them slip into the playoffs. But just from an ATS standpoint and just asking them to be a 37 plus win team, I think they can do that. So over 36.5 wins for the Raptors. All right, let's go to futures, and then we bring in the rest of the crew here. NBA division futures, we've got the Sixers plus 375. You know what? To be honest with you, the Ben Simmons thing I think will be over at some point. I don't see him finishing the season here in Philadelphia. He can't. He absolutely cannot. You got to somehow hook or crook, get rid of it. Get rid of him for good. It's got to happen. But if they do that, I think the Sixers will be better off for it. So I like them in the Atlantic at plus 375. Celtics for just some small value at 10-1 because I think the Celtics have some things to like. And actually, I think it'll be better without Kemba Walker this year. So I don't mind Boston at the small flyer price. Here's my number one team that I love the most this year. There's in terms of all the futures, I've got Miami, top to bottom, to win the Southeast Division. Minus 105. Show you can change the graphics to the next one, and we'll see that I like Miami as well. There you go. Conference futures plus 900, 20-1 to win the title. I've got Miami players in a few categories as well. We'll get to that in a sec, but I really like the way this team's been built. You've got Butler and Lowry now, outstanding backcourt. Lowry's got a chance now to win another title. You're going to see him play well, I think, this year. And it's not just, scoring, passing, being tough, defensive-minded point guard, taking charges, which he's done all his career. So lots to like there. I think Miami's definitely a team that's going to be a very, very good basketball team this year. In my opinion, it's going to be a team that I think could threaten, the top of the East, Brooklyn, Milwaukee, and whoever else you want to put up there near the top of the East. I think Miami's right there with those teams this year. As far as the West goes, I've got questions about everybody in the West, including the Los Angeles Lakers. But I've got more questions about the Clippers, the Nuggets with Jamal Murray, coming off a serious injury. Phoenix, they probably tumbled down a little bit after just narrowly missing out on the championship last year. Dallas, are they going to be able to play enough? Is Jason Kidd the answer there? That's the question. So a lot of question marks there in terms of some of those teams. So the lesser of the bunch to me is going to be the Lakers, and I think maybe a little bit more of a hunger sets in for them. And that's why I take them at plus 190 to win the West, and a small flyer on Dallas just because of the price. And look, maybe a chance to take a step forward for the Dallas Mavericks. Again, a lot falls on Luka's shoulders. And the moment Luka, has a serious long-term injury or, misses time in the playoffs, it could be curtains for the Dallas Mavericks. But it's more of a price bet than anything because it's just I found a little bit more value on Dallas than, say, trusting, your Phoenix or your Clippers or your Nuggets, Jazz, who have done nothing in the playoffs but disappoint. So I had to go somewhere, and I went with Dallas for a little longer shot. So there you go, and you see the NBA championship futures. Anybody but Brooklyn. And I know Brooklyn, with the Kyrie Irving nonsense and the circus going on, difficult to see that team, losing, maybe not winning a championship, especially if they get Irving back at some point, and Durant and Harden are good enough to carry that group. And it's not just that, but Brooklyn is, how are you going to slow them down if you're the opposing defensive basketball team this year is a big time question. Harden, Irving, Joe Harris, Durant, of course. And you look at then they get Patty Mills. It's like, geez, do you really need more scoring? And you're bringing in Patty Mills now too? I mean, my gosh. I mean, how are you going to defend this team? My goodness. So it's going to be difficult. It's tough. It's tough in mentally for me to see anyone but Brooklyn winning the title. But obviously, I'd rather take a shot that maybe at some point Harden can't stay healthy, Durant can't. And look, they did have some injury issues last year. Irving's got his vaccine situation going on, and that maybe someone could pick off Brooklyn in the East or on the way to a title. So that's what I'm looking at there. And last of all, player award futures. Steph Curry plus 550. He's going to have to do a lot for this team for Golden State until they get Thompson back as well. So, and Golden State, I think, will be an improved club this year. So I think he'll have a monster year. plus 550 to win MVP. Rookie of the year, too, Jalen Green, plus 250. I think he's got the potential to be the best this season, at least in the rookie crop. And just because he's been way more impressive than I thought he'd be early in training camp and preseason for the Raptors, Scotty Barnes at 10-1. A smaller bet on him for rookie of the year. And I said I love the Heat. Tyler Hero, 11-1. He's doing it the right way. I sucked last year. I let the team down. I was garbage. So what do I do about it? Ben Simmons, listen up. Listen up, Ben. You could learn a thing or two from this, what I'm about to say. Tyler Hero didn't say I'm not going to work. He went in the gym. He, worked on his upper body strength, got himself in better shape for this season. He's ready. He's got that winning mindset, Hero. I'm going to be better this year. I'm going to put that season behind me, and I'm going to play better this year. Ben Simmons, you could you could learn a thing or two from Tyler Hero's offseason regimen. Why don't you work to get better? Ben Simmons, work on that jump shot. Work on making a goddamn free throw. Do something in the offseason to improve yourself. Ben Simmons isn't doing that. Tyler Hero is. And I think you see a lot more of the Tyler Hero 2 years ago, the year Miami went to the NBA Finals in the bubble, than the Tyler Hero last year. I'll take a shot. Sixth man of the year, Tyler Hero, 11-1. And bam, also from the Miami Heat. Look, there's other guys that could win DPOY, but bam at 14-1. I think very, very good value there for a Miami team that I think is going to be a really good defensive team this year. So there you have it. I'm finally done. There you go. All the futures. We've got the gang in the back. We're going to bring them on now. Skee Profit, Dutch Boy Fresh, Trot Wham. It is great to be back with the three of you for another NBA season. Skee, we'll start with you. How excited are you for another NBA year?
Definitely excited, and I'm most excited that it's like more of a normal season. Like, gonna have the games like not all lumped together and in bad situations for everybody where they don't even want to play. So, I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully everybody has a good year.
Lee Dutch, we got it back. We got him back. He is a blast. It's fun. It was fun to do all the shows with him last year. Dutch, killing it with more player props this year, I'm sure. That's his bread and butter. Dutch, excited for working with you again for a full season and excited for another year.
Yeah, Babano, it's good to be back with you, the crew. Added my guy Trout Wham to the motherfucking cast. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Good to be with the chat. It's Medicaid Monday, so I am not feeling too great today, but I do feel real good to be here. Got the garlic cookies in the plane. Gonna get us right where we need to be. Y'all hit that motherfucking like button. Muchly appreciated.
There we go. This is the fun part of the show for me because I just get to sit back and listen for the most part for the next 30 minutes or so after that long spiel I had at the beginning. Trot Wham, you are a full-time co-host, if you will, of the NBA Pub Hub this year. It's great to have you. How excited are you for a new season?
Oh no, it's my pleasure to have me here, man. I appreciate you guys. Definitely, it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing, like my guy Dutch says. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, hit that like button, bro. I'm happy to be here. I'm good to, get to NBA time and let's get to this money, man. I'm happy to get started, bro.
All right, NBA season preview. The Dutch, Skee, and Trot Wham, they've got a bunch of futures that they've bet. Skee, we'll start with you here. I know you've got a big list of futures bets. You see them on the screen right now. Have at it. Tell us what you like going into the season.
Uh, just kind of go through all of them. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
All right, for sure. Well, I know one that's not on the list that I am considering is I like what you were saying about the Raptors, and I think they'll have, like last year they weren't even playing at home, so I think the home court advantage will help them quite a bit, and I just think they'll have a good season. 37.5 or 36.5 is not a big ass, so I'm gonna do some more research and see if I can get there with that. The rest of these, and also obviously, I agree with your Lakers pick. I didn't have it on my list, but you guys know that's my pick for the West. For the rest of my plays here, my favorite one is going to be at the top, but the Celtics over 46.5. I just think that, I mean, for one, Dennis Schroeder is a big upgrade over Kemba Walker. I always talk about him being a liability on defense, and in general, he's injury prone. So combine that with Schroeder having something to prove after losing out on all that money. I like that over there. And in general, they've gone over this number the last 5 years. Even in the shortened season with 10 less games, they still find their way to 47 wins. So that's probably my favorite one out of the whole group. And like you, Ian, a little bit, I probably like it more than you. I took Celtics to win the Atlantic Division. I didn't get a better price than you, but I kind of took it just, I mean, with all the drama going on, I mean, we know now that Kyrie is not going to play unless he gets vaccinated, right? Maybe they don't even want him anymore at all. And then the drama for the Sixers with Simmons, I kind of think they're just probably going to try to get him to look good for a little bit, increase his value because people are trying to lowball them, and then trade him away. And so combine that, they could have chemistry issues with new players they get. And Embiid is kind of injury prone in general. You don't know how many games he may miss, and I could see Tobias Harris missing some games too. So that's why I took Celtics to win that division at the plus 750. And you heard me talking a little bit about the Sixers and Simmons and the whole situation they have there. So I'm going with the Sixers under 51.5 wins. Next one, Pacers over 42.5. I like this one quite a bit. I think they have a coach upgrade for sure in Carlisle and a lot of the same players that they've had over there. I just think the chemistry is good. I saw Brogdon just sign a 2-year extension today, but they have a good starting lineup. I feel like their bench is pretty solid as well. And they've gone over this number the last 3 years, just like I mentioned with the Celtics, even in the shortened season, they found their way to 43. I think they do it again here this year. So I like that. And can't even read it on the screen there. Knicks to miss the playoffs. Yeah. And Knicks under 42.5. Yeah, the plus price for Knicks to miss the playoffs was just kind of interesting to me. Much like you mentioned, Ian, they leave a lot of people. They make a lot of threes, and I really want to bet on teams that make a lot of threes this year because, I mean, as we see every single year, we're just getting more and more three-pointers. That's why the totals keep increasing. And those teams that can shoot the three very well are the teams that are having success. But they also give up a lot of threes. And like you said, most of the people just weren't making it last year. I think that will turn around this year. And I just think we're going to see a decline from the Knicks. So I like both of those plays there. Hawks to win the Southeast. This one is against you, Ian. You like the Heat, and I don't blame you. I like the Heat too. The reason I took this play and what I like about this one is, yeah, I like the Heat. I think they're built for the playoffs, though. I look at the regular season. I mean, they have a lot of older veteran guys. Kyle Lowry. We've seen Jimmy Butler have struggled with injuries, and I can see the same with Bam. And if one of those guys goes out, I just don't think they're the same team. So I look at the Hawks. I feel like they're a little bit deeper. And I feel like if one of the guys goes out on their side, I mean, they've already dealt with that. And I feel like they can be better in that situation for the regular season. And they won the Southeast last year. I'll bet on them to do it again at plus 120. Rookie of the year, maybe just like a fan bet, but I just really love Jalen Green's game. I get that the Rockets may not be good, and he may not get it because of that, but I still think he's the best player that's come out of that draft. So I took a shot on him. And defensive player of the year, Anthony Davis, plus 600. I just think that he's already said he's going to have to come in with the defensive mindset, and he's going to have to make up for everybody else's liabilities. And if the Lakers are going to have success, which I think they will, it's going to be mostly due because of his defensive success. So I like that for Anthony Davis.
All right, there you go. Futures, player props, you name it, from Skee Profit for the upcoming season. And yeah, I mean, razor sharp, a little skeptical of Tyler bouncing. He's putting in the work. That's all I'll say. This is buy low. Let's see. I think, I think he's better than what we saw last year. I don't think he's quite as good as he was 2 years ago, but he's not, I don't think, going to fall off like he did last year. And we'll see. I mean, obviously, if it was just a one-hit wonder in the bubble 2 years ago with his play, then yeah, we're not going to cash that sixth man of the year. But I thought at that price, it was worth the look. Let's bring in our guy, Dutch, because it seems like based on the DM in our Twitter chat before we got this season premiere show started, if you want to make two members of this show presidents of the Miami Heat fan club, it's going to be Dutch and it's going to be me. I think we both love this Miami Heat team. Dutch, take it away. Your futures. What do you like?
Yeah, man. You right on it. Ian, you pretty much said everything that I could say. Really, we definitely need Tyler to be somewhat a bubble Tyler. He don't got to be all world bubble, but be somewhat of that Tyler. Come on. Oladipo coming back, that's going to be big. I don't really do too much of these futures, so I look more for value a little bit. But take it what you will. This is what kind of stood out to me. I definitely think that the Heat Eastern Conference, though, because that one thing, I think they do go over 48.5 wins, but about the winning division, it does scare me a little bit. They are an older team. They're top heavy. Without Oladipo, they're like 8 deep right now. I think they got a couple other cats trying to work in, but really they got the Morris, Hero, and Dedmon off the bench, really. But I like their starting five a lot, especially when it comes to playoff time. Trae Young going to be having some problems with Kyle Lowry and that defense. They will be the best defensive team in the league. They signed PJ Tucker. Man, they're going to be fucking hard to score on. When they're playing 5-team basketball, look for Bam, I think, to have a better year. I look for Jimmy if Miami can have a super year like I think they're capable of, there's even plus 5,000 out there on Jimmy, kind of a little backdoor, a little plus money on the MVP. But I really like Steph at plus 900. That's at BetMGM right now. I looked at it, Ian, so that's a pretty good number right there, plus 900. KD, if healthy, will be the MVP. I'm high on Brooklyn this year. I know my guy Skee, he thinks, James Harden a little bit chance to win the MVP, but I don't think that could happen if KD's on the team. Everyone knows who the best fucking players in the world, let alone on that team. If Brooklyn wins, KD gonna get the MVP, probably average 30 plus in the season in the fucking league. What is it? Plus 225, 250. That's good money if you ask me. But it's all about health. That's why I don't like these bets too much. But you gonna tell me you're gonna give me plus 700 on KD? Man, give me that all day. I'm gonna eat off that. Believe that. Just stay healthy. I want all these motherfuckers to stay healthy, win or lose. And Steph, I'm really high on the Warriors as well. I like Jordan Poole. I think he's gonna be capable. Need Wiseman to get healthy. Need Wiggins. Obviously, we need Clay back there. When Clay gets back, I really think that the Warriors, could make a run. I really like the Warriors. I think it's over 49.5. Steph stays healthy. Clay can come back. Wiseman gets in there. They're deep. I like the Otto Porter edition. I like the Warriors, man. But when I come out of the West, I look at the Nuggets. I really, really like their squad right now. I like the signing of Jeff Green off the bench. I need Murray back in there, but I think Monte Morris will be big. They got Campazzo off the bench. I like Eric Gordon with the full season there. I'm not saying he's wow, but when he's like your fourth best player and he's your defensive guy, can go out there, I think you got a good chance. When your best players and selfish like Nurkic is, and you got that much talent around them, I really like Denver. I like them more as it gets to the playoffs. Murray gets back, and then they can make a run. I could see them being in the finals if everything doesn't go, perfect for LA, like I know our two other gentlemen think. I think you think that too, Ian. But I know these two think everything's gonna be perfect in La La Land. I don't know if it's gonna be that easy though. I don't know if it's gonna be as good as the Kush, but it's gonna be good though. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited to watch every Laker game because I want to see how it turns out. But if you ask me what was my best bet on there, I would probably say KD plus 700. To be honest with you, I think that I'd lay a unit on that and Steph Curry. And I'm Luka the Don guy, but what is it like plus 350? And I honestly don't think the Mavericks are going to be that good from that perspective. So another one that I kind of looked at was the Wizards over 34.5. I actually think they're low key little lower valued. I like Dinwiddie. I think they're kind of deep, too. They got some guys that are going to come to work. Kuzma's probably got a little something to prove. Sneaky, over 33.5, actually, with the Wizards. Nothing crazy. But, yeah, just a little something I'm looking at. But I'm real excited for this season. I'm looking forward to seeing Brooklyn stay healthy. And hopefully we get the Nets in L.A. like everybody wants to see. But watch out for them Nuggets, boys.
Hey, can I ask Dutch a question real quick?
Oh, yes, you can. I know you got something to say. Miami will be fucking with Trey. Believe that.
No, I agree with you. I like the Nuggets in general. If they're healthy, I liked them last year to maybe challenge the Lakers.
Will Barton back
in the playoffs, even though the Lakers didn't even make it. But I like the Nuggets, like you said. But what about the regular season? Like you mentioned, he's probably not going to be back till like March. That Northwest, you're not scared of Utah Jazz?
Yeah, that's why I was kind of looking at it a little more. I was like, I'll really only endorse. See, I did this like I said, I'm not big on the futures. I like the over 47.5. But when it comes to the plus 225, I'll probably stay off of that and just take a shot at the plus 1100. I think it was to win the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, excuse me, because I do believe there'll be a better team come playoff time. You're absolutely right. And Utah has proven that they can win a lot of games in the regular season.
Yeah, 100%. I'd rather have Utah than Denver in the regular season with the win total. I'd rather have Denver than Utah in the futures market, in the conference, in the title futures.
I agree.
Denver's got the better upside at playoff time.
I just really like Denver coming out of the West, is my point. But go ahead, my fault.
Yeah, and I've had it with trust in Utah in the playoffs. Now I've got to see it before I'm ready to believe in the Jazz at playoff time. Because now it's 2 years in a row. It's a massive disappointment, especially last year. The incredible regular season, and then it goes up in flames there for them. So I'm going to have to see it from Utah come postseason time for them. And as far as the Lakers, I know Skee was happy to see me. It's more than just I've got questions like Golden State. I think there's only a certain plateau they can get to come playoff time. Phoenix probably going to slide back a little bit. It's hard to get that close to winning the championship with an older Chris Paul, and you now all of a sudden got to try to do it again here this year. It's going to be difficult. Dallas has questions. Denver, until they get Murray back, has Clippers to me are not that impressive. I think they're going to be.
I mean, what did Dallas do to improve? I know we got to get my guy Wham on the set, but what did Dallas do to improve? I don't see them any improvements when I was looking at the roster overall. I love me some.
I like Reggie Bullock.
Oh yeah, they got Reggie Bullock from New York. That was the one guy, exactly. That was the one guy. But I mean, that's your only addition. Like you didn't get. But you're right. I like Bullock though. He spread the court.
Absolutely. Time to get to Trot Wham. His futures. Next up on the docket. There you go. Don't worry about the picture. We caught him when he's just waking up or stoned or some shit. But there you go.
Yeah.
It is what it is. It's him. That's all that matters. It's Trot Wham, not an imposter. Trot Wham, go ahead. What do you like?
So we can start off going down the line right there. Darius Garland, most improved player of the year. I believe that Colin Sexton will be traded. Similar to what you're seeing with DeAndre Ayton, doesn't want to talk to the media today, has not got his contract situation signed in. Something like Colin Sexton as well. They're probably going to trade him. I'm not sure if they're going to trade Ayton. It's kind of skeptical right now, but it's one of those things with all those 2018 draft picks. They're looking like they need their check. Some of those guys are getting it. Mikal Bridges, Luka, those guys are getting it, but it doesn't seem like a lot of those guys. And if that guy goes, Darius Garland is going to see a big improvement for sure around his usage rate. I think he's going to be one of those guys this year. So I think that's good value there at plus 2,200. It's kind of where I'm looking at. And if we keep going with the plus 2,200 here, we can talk about this next one. Sixth man of the year, Dennis Schroeder. I believe he lost the most money this offseason. So he's definitely motivated. So I'm going to say he's going to be one of the most motivated guys. And it's going to be a thriving role here. And this team should be a lot better in this Celtics team without having an injury-prone Kyrie or any of those other Kembas of the world. These young guys get a chance to breathe now. They're the real guys in Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And this guy is just supposed to help them over the hedge. So I think him coming off the bench is a big plus, getting good value there. So I like that. We could talk about Anthony Davis all we want. He got 3 extra inches on his shoulders. I think that's going to help him defend a lot better, bro. So I know Dutch doesn't want to hear this, but I think AD is back, bro, and I think he's going to be good. So I see value in the MVP at plus 1,800, and Defensive Player of the Year at plus 900. I think that's just a good value there. AD should be the guy that's getting spoon-fed in this offense, along with being the anchor on defense, especially if he's running more center. He's going to be able to switch off and have real good moments against a lot of great guards. So I think that's going to be where I look there. And I already talked about the Celtics. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be as good as the 76ers and as good as the Nets. So why not take a shot here at the plus 1,000? It just makes the most sense to me, especially with those kids, like I said, being able to get breath. It is kind of concerning, though. We will talk about this throughout the season. The new coach, he's already starting to implement little changes here, and they got guys a little sprout up with Marcus Morris missing the plane. It's kind of already starting up here, but maybe that's just him putting his foot down, letting these guys know I'm in charge, and we could go on from there. But let's see how that plays out. But I think I like that look. Jalen Green, seems like we're all on it. We're all fans. I think he's going to get a lot of role here, even though Kevin Porter Jr. will as well. A lot of people talked about that recently as well, but I just think that he's going to play good, and he's going to get the second best defender every night. I don't think he's going to get the best defender, so he should be able to ball out. And leans that I have, I love the Hawks, man, to win the division. I think the Hawks play really well. They got the deepest team without any hiccups. They already went through those roles with a lot of these players like Collins. They went through that role with some other guys that's trying to get contracts as well. I think Herter's trying to get a contract this year, so he's on the contract year. Expect him to ball out. I think the Hawks are definitely good there. And if you're talking about the Hawks, let's talk about their coach of the year, Nate McMillan. He's definitely up there in the spot right there. So that's how I'm looking at as far as futures. Other than that, man, I'm ready to get dialed in, bro. You already know, bro.
So both these cats, Ian, love the fucking Lakers and the Hawks. They do. That's what it is.
That's
man.
your final. Is that your NBA finals too? Lakers and Hawks?
Hey, man, that'd be nice to see, but I ain't gonna lie though. I think the Lakers don't want to see the Hawks, bro. We don't want to see the Hawks. we don't want to see a few teams, bro.
Bro, the Hawks are
them.
better regular season team in my opinion.
I think anyone in the
though.
West. Yeah, anyone in the West will take their chances with anyone against Brooklyn in the NBA Finals at this point. They'd be happy with anyone but the Nets, I think, and you'd like their chances in that NBA Finals. So there's everybody with their futures. We're going to before we turn it, because we're going to do like what we've done in the baseball show at this time the last few weeks is on days where there's games in other sports. We'll talk them too. Like we'll talk the baseball game, we'll talk the Monday Night Football game as well, Bills and Titans. At the end of the show. But before we turn from NBA, any other teams, guys, that you want to talk about? Bet on teams, bet against teams, just teams that you found out something interesting that you want to talk about with certain teams. Skee, is there anything else in terms of other NBA teams you want to mention?
No, I just remember Dutch from Denver, though. You're talking about us and the Lakers. We see you with all them Nuggets tickets over there.
Nah.
And Suns. You like the Suns
Nah, baby.
too, like me. Yeah.
Nah, but anything else I want to mention? The only other thing I was thinking about was, well, I guess the main thing that stood out to me for this season and just seasons that are coming up is, I probably said it already, but I really want to bet on teams that shoot the three well. I mean, if you look at the teams that had success, all the teams, or majority of them at least, were like top 3-point shooting teams. Between that and rebounding, those are the teams I want to bet on. So that's just what I'm looking for right now.
So guys, it's insane.
We'll see.
Because I don't know if they knocked the number one box off shooting. I just we'll see though. I mean, but I was looking real hard for a shooter the other night. I was like, God damn, can I get a shooter Bazemore? That's
we
it.
We got a midget right now.
I know. I like me some Wayne Ellington. The Tar Heel and Monk.
Yeah, he ain't even playing. He ain't even playing tomorrow.
They're not even in there. Yeah, you ain't got no shooters. Like,
if I'm not mistaken, the last year, I think the two teams that made it to the finals, they went like 0 and whatever in the preseason. They were looking pretty bad. So
I'm not bringing up preseason. I'm just talking about who's shooting the basketball. That's all. Rather even in shoot around, they still don't look like they got no shooters, bro.
But when the lights are bright, just wait.
Okay, yeah, they'll be competitive for sure. But I look more as a fade team. I look at the Pelicans as a big fade. I don't like what I see. I know Zion. They respect a lot of him. They thought that Zion was going to run the point, I guess, and from what I've seen, it's just they make all the wrong decisions. I actually kind of like it better with Zion off the court with Big Val, but even with all them in there, it's too cluster. You have no shooters, you have no point guard. They lost an awful lot and replaced it with Devontae Graham. I just don't see it from a coaching, general manager, the whole. I think it's all kind of done for over there in New Orleans. So the Pelicans, to me, I'm going to look to be fading them. Off top for sure. And like I said about the Wizards, I think that the Wizards there will be some value there because I think they're like 8-9 deep. They got Bryant comes back. They got obviously half the Lakers fucking squad, and then Dinwiddie back. I really like the Wizards. It's not as a fucking playoff team, but as a sneaky team to get value off of consistently throughout the season.
There we go. I like that. Good looks there from Dutch in terms of just teams bet on, bet against to look toward for the season. And, you're right about the 3-point shot being so important in NBA betting these days. I mean, we're trending to close. We're getting to the point now where we're going to be over 40% of all shots over being 3-point shots in the league. That's insane. Like, we're almost going to get to the point where it's like 50% 3-point field goal attempts of all shots that are taken in the NBA. That's where we're going. Like, it's only going up. It's gone up consistently for the last several years. And if you don't make threes at a high percentage and you don't defend the three at a good clip, you're not going to have success. And the rebounding is important too. The only other way, like if you're not going to make threes consistently and you're not going to defend the perimeter well, you better get on the glass and get some second chances. And you better rebound the hell out of the ball so that at least you make up for those empty shots and that bad shooting percentage from three by getting second and third and fourth extra possession against the opponent. So Skee said it. He's right. 3-point offense, 3-point defense, and rebounding. That is really the crux of where teams are either good or bad, in the NBA, especially the last few years. There's no denying that whatsoever. And we're only trending further in that direction as the years go by. Trot Wham, any other teams you want to mention?
I'll just bring up that Cavs team having Lauri Markkanen running at the three is interesting to see. I want to see, are they going to be sneaky cover teams? Also, Denver. We can talk about Denver. They was a good first quarter team last year, number one in net rating, offense and defense there. I think they could do it again. They got the same team, minus a couple elder statements like Millsap and shit. Get
JaVale
right back
McGee.
to the temple. I like Monte Morris and Will Barton to be healthy this year as well. So even though you don't have Jamal Murray, those guys still be able to have the offense down. And the ball is going to Jokic anyway. So I look at the Denver first quarter. That's kind of the look I'm going to be looking at early, and that's pretty much it, bro.
There we go. All right, there we go. NBA season betting preview. We've given futures. We've given win totals, player props, looked at certain teams, bet on, bet against, hopefully getting you ready for the NBA season overall. So there you go. I'm gonna go with Miami as my champion. There you go. I'm going to be a little bit off the cuff. Miami is my champ. I don't want to go Lakers or Brooklyn or Milwaukee to repeat or any of these obvious choices. I want to be something different, a little off the radar, not that they're way off the radar. They're going to be a really good team, but you're right. I think for guys like Skee and for Trotwam liking the Hawks to win the division, even though I like Miami to win the division, I could see the path for Atlanta, especially if the injuries mount for Miami and maybe they're just pacing themselves through the 82 games and then they turn it up when the playoffs arrive. So, but I think at playoff time, they're going to be a really tough team to beat, especially if Hero kicks it back into high gear. Duncan Robinson, Bam, the great backcourt with Butler and Lowry. They play great defense, well coached by Spoelstra. What else is new? And I think a hunger there as well. Last year went off the rails, disappointing, after going to the finals 2 years ago. They got that spirit to let's get back on track and let's make a run. And I think they will this year. So there you go. Before we wrap up the show, we're going to do some baseball, a little football. The baseball game tonight, we got the Astros and Red Sox. It's game 3 of the ALCS series, tied at 1. We've got Boston minus 110. They're actually pretty much even money, both sides. 9 the total. Jose Urquidy, Eduardo Rodriguez, the pitching matchup. I'm just going with the over here because these two teams just can't stop hitting right now. I mean, and I know the weather's a little bit tricky tonight. It's going to be a cold, damp type of night, wind blowing in at Fenway. I get all that, and that could hurt the offense. But these lineups are smashing the ball right now, and I think definitely we could still see some runs scored. The weather forecast and the wind patterns do concern me a little, but we've seen overs in the first 2 games of this series, and it's 2 lineups that are proving themselves to be very difficult for these opposing pitching staffs, both starters and bullpens. So I think you just over 9 for me. I mean, just with 2 red hot lineups, I'll go with that rather than take either side in this game. And to be honest with you, I don't trust Urquidy, and I certainly don't trust Eduardo Rodriguez, a lefty, against this Astros team. So I think we'll see some runs tonight. Skee, did you have any kind of strong opinion here? ALCS game 3 tonight.
Strong opinion, no, but I really don't trust Rodriguez. And like you said, lefty, Astros, smash lefties. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I mean, both the first games flew over. I think this one has a solid shot of flying over as well. And if I have to pick one of the 2 guys to fade, I don't know. I'm not a Rodriguez guy. I would be back in the Astros today, so it'll be Astros or over.
Astros and Overlean. Dutch, did you have any thought on the baseball?
A lot of guys I respect are on the Astros. There seem to be good value there. But real quick, I can't see the chat. I don't know what the fuck I did to my laptop. But shout out to everybody in the chat. Woo woo. You know, my guy Razor. Oh shit, hold up.
Shout out to the dog that's joining us too as well.
Like, hey, what about me? What about me?
Yeah.
The dog's going crazy. See, they want to get in on it too, bro. They want to get on it too. But yeah, shout out to everybody in chat. I see Razor still talking about that Drew Holiday shit. Hey, bro, he didn't prove it when he won the motherfucking title and then go hop on the bus to USA and probably be the second best player on the team, guard everybody. Come on, man. He changed the whole fucking team. Bro. Shit about it, man. Come on, Razor. Like all day is the man. And what would he do to CP3? That motherfucker shadowed his ass. I couldn't even see CP3 half the motherfucking game. But for baseball, I guess you'd have to say Astros is the play. And if Skee says over, then it's the motherfucking over, man.
There you go. A 1-1. Good series there with Boston. How about you, Trotwan? What did you bet the baseball?
Yeah, I'll go over bases here, total bases by hit. Altuve over 1.5. And then you probably want to parlay this because you're getting some juicy ones for Schwarzer on the Boston side. And I'll probably add on Correa, bro. That's it.
All right, there you go. And of course,
I love Wyatt. Yeah. Wyatt in the chat. Astros gonna cheat hard, baby.
Yeah. They got to. It's only
they
right.
might have to win this series because Boston's not backing down from them. Yeah, Houston,
both of them cheating. Both of them cheating, so it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're right about that. But by the way, we'll save the Dodgers and Skee's rant for them maybe until tomorrow. We'll talk because after the NBA break, we'll do the 2 NBA games on opening night on tomorrow's Pub Hub, and then we'll talk that Dodgers-Braves game as well tomorrow. So we'll get into the Dodgers more tomorrow. We've got Monday Night Football, NFL tonight as well. Let's talk that now. We got Buffalo and Tennessee. The Bills 6-point road favorites, 53.5 the total. I think one of the biggest fallacies and farces I've ever heard throughout Twitter, sports betting Twitter this week is, the Bills, it's a letdown. The Bills, it's a flat spot tonight after the Kansas City win. Tennessee embarrassed Buffalo last year. It was probably the worst game Buffalo played all of last year when they lost to the Titans. And the Titans kind of was mocking them after they won that game as well. And it was a miserable scheduling situation for the Bills. They had that game continuously pushed back because of COVID issues with the Titans. And it was a weird scheduling situation. And the Titans did play well, but it was arguably one of the worst games the Bills played all of last year. And I don't think they liked what the Titans kind of said after that game, that, we kind of found some things out about this Buffalo team. And there's no flat spot to me. I think the Bills want to prove a point here. I don't know if I want to lay 6, but I've got the Bills tied up in one parlay that's pending. I've got Rams, what else? Chiefs and the Bills in a 3-team parlay. And so we're just waiting on the Bills and all they got to do is win the game. I think they will. You want to go against a team that's plus 86 ATS margin the last 4 games. They have beaten the point spread by 86 points in the last 4 games combined. They've been undervalued, believe it or not, the Bills. And you could say it before, it was Houston. Some weaker teams there during that early part of that win streak. But what they did in Kansas City at Arrowhead to the Chiefs last Sunday was impressive. Multiple interceptions out of Mahomes and the Chiefs offense. The defense is going to get Matt Milano, one of their best coverage linebackers on the field, it looks like tonight, to go with that great secondary with Levi Wallace and Tre'Davious White in the cornerback spot. The D-line's gotten some good pressure as well. And by the way, I like what the pressure they gave up front from the D-line last week, and it's goes right into one of the props I like, Tannehill over rushing yards. He's going to have to try to run with the ball. I think he's going to be under some pressure tonight, Tannehill, with that Bills front 7 maybe getting after it. No team has given up more receiving yards to opposing teams this year than the Tennessee Titans. Bills receivers for props are the first thing maybe I would consider. Diggs hasn't been the guy that's had the big year like he did last year, but I think he's got a chance maybe to get going a little bit. They've not been able to cover the slot receiver over the middle of the field. Those type of receivers have just crushed Tennessee last year and already so far this year. So maybe you look at a Cole Beasley for the Buffalo Bills tonight for props over receiving yards, something like that. So to me, this is Buffalo. I would only look to -6 in this one, but I've already got them in a parlay, so I'll stick with that. Buffalo team total over 2 is interesting to me rather than the full game over, because I don't know if Tennessee's offense is going to match Buffalo point for point, because I like the way the Bills defense is played. Top 3 run defense. Good point, Eric Chang in our chat. And that matters because, look, A.J. Brown is questionable, and they might be down their best receiver. It means, in theory, you think Tennessee gives a lot of Derrick Henry early and often, feeds him. But Buffalo's run defense has been up for the task. So that's why if you're looking at over, and I would lean full game over 53, but I think I like the Bills a little bit better, their team total over, because I just don't know if Tennessee's going to keep on piling up the points and scoring and keeping pace with the Bills for 4 quarters tonight. Skee, what's your betting thoughts here, Monday Night Football?
It's going to be probably a little different than how I usually talk about these games, but I feel a lot of different ways. For one, I think that the last time that they played, or maybe not the last time they played, but it's the last time I remember Derrick Henry running all over them and stiff arming somebody into a whole nother planet.
They did. So, he did. Yes, he did.
And I get that people are saying the run defenses look good this year, but who have they faced with the run game? I don't see one. The Chiefs, mediocre.
Houston has no run game, none at all.
So I don't think they faced one team really with a real run game that they're going to face like tonight. So I think I throw that out the window, and I think Tennessee has success offensively because of Henry. So I just look at that. I know. I haven't looked too deep into this game. A.J. Brown, Julio, are they both playing?
Yeah. Julio's in. A.J.'s questionable. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you got one of them. But I just think that the Titans can score with the Bills, and I don't think that Bills defense is going to hold them down on the ground. So combine that with the fact that I see everybody taking the Bills. I just kind of want to run the other way anyway. So I lean Titans here plus the points.
All right, leaning toward a 10. It's not a bargain. It's -6 on the road, and so there's definitely some. I guess a little leery you could be of laying almost a touchdown with the Bills on the road. But if you're betting Tennessee solely because you think the Bills are going to be flat, personally, I'd be shocked if the Bills are flat. Tennessee humiliated them last year. I think there's a little payback the Bills want. We'll see if that plays out that way tonight. Dutch, what do you like here for Monday Night Football?
Yeah, real quick. Shout out to my guy Ray Charles says 110 for the record for King Henry. He might get it tonight. Yeah, I think his prop was like right under 100. Shout out to Big Zoe, MMA locker room. Yeah, when it comes to this game, man, it's simple to me, man. It's Bills Mafia all day, early and often. I mean, you touched on a little bit, Ian. The ass whooping they got last year, 42-16. Buffalo remembers that ass whooping, like, that stiff arm and ski talking about all that shit. Like they gonna remember that, and they're gonna put it on them for tonight, from start to finish. I love the 6. I'm not mad at the over, but Buffalo's defense is for real. I don't like what I see out of the Titans. I mean, they beat Jacksonville. Okay. So, I mean, they're not that impressive to me at all. I think the Bills are one of the more elite teams. The only thing I'm a little worried about is maybe coming off of, the big victory. But they're well coached. They got a stud at quarterback. They play defense, and I don't trust Tennessee. So I really like the -6 here. I think it's Bills Mafia all day. Good money.
Yeah, Beasley and Knox too. Yeah, because tight end, middle of the field, they cannot cover receivers middle of the field. They've had a miserable time of it again this year. Tennessee trying to cover middle of the field receivers. So Knox, Beasley are the two that come to mind. They're going to be over the middle. Those short to intermediate routes are going to be like child's play for Josh Allen tonight to complete those.
Yeah, I was also looking at Allen plus 135 anytime touchdown. I'm kind of just chilling tonight. I got money on the -6, so I don't know if I'm gonna fire that, but that seemed like good value to me. He usually gets his big ass in there for one.
Yeah, he is. He's not, especially down like those 3rd and goal situations, 2nd and goal, whatever, inside the 5. He'll keep it. He'll keep it and run for a touchdown. Sure. He's done it a lot, so you're never in a bad negative expectation situation in my mind, taking Josh Allen to score a touchdown. Trot Wham, what do you like, if anything, here? Bills and Titans.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think the Bills is pretty much the offensive juggernaut of the NFL right now. They keep going, keep scoring. I like the Knox play a lot. I like him to score a touchdown at plus 190. I think that's probably the best bet that I'm going to make for this. If I was to make a best bet for this game, it would be that for sure. I like the over 41.5 receiving yards for him as well. I love the way you broke that down, Ian, as far as what they need to do is go through the middle. That makes so much sense. He's been a red zone target the last 2 weeks, scored 3 touchdowns in the last 2 weeks. I think Knox is the guy for sure. And then as far as Josh Allen and these guys being going against the run, I think they haven't been able to, they've been scoring points pretty easily. So I think that's going to be a little bit troubling for Tennessee without their receivers. And you've shown that they're having trouble scoring against teams that's, not at this caliber. So I think we should be able to see the Buffalo to blow them out, in my opinion. I think the 6 is lovely. And I definitely think the best play those Knox, just chill back and let them score that first. You know what I mean? That's it.
There you go. Dawson Knox for the Bills, who's been just outstanding, especially the last few games at the tight end spot for the Bills. Let's shout out everybody in the chat. Good to see all familiar names that I remember seeing at NBA Pub Hub shows last year. Kenny Woo Woo Woo, Eric Chang, Raymond Reichert, Wyatt Chapman, Candace Soto. Welcome in at Razor Sharp, Turnsey, of course, back again. Amsterdam, what else? Not applicable. MMA Locker Room, Sherion. Sharon, I should say. Can't get right. We appreciate everybody joining us here in the chat for the show today. Down to Earth, Dave and Cal, 48, Billy Pilgrim, Rodney Barton, MMA Locker Room, Jacksonville Zoe. We appreciate everybody joining us here. Jerry Beatty, Tony B, the Big Steppa. There we go. Ray Charles, everybody, Harold Williams. Japan of 2006. We got some new names. Morgan Spooner, iHeavy08, who's donated a few times this week. We appreciate that. Gordon, thank you to everybody in the chat joining us. 92 live viewers. Hit the like button. Make sure you do that if you haven't already on the way out. We will wrap up the show in just a second, but first, messages from both Manscaped and Southdown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, make sure you get there. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, and karaoke. Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Manscaped promo code PubSports, 20% off your purchase. Lawnmower 4.0, any Manscaped product on the website, get 20% off using the promo code PubSports. And mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. Sign up for an account. What are you waiting for? It's that time of year. All the sports converge at once. Football. NHL hockey started last week. NBA tips off tomorrow night. We've got baseball playoffs still going. College basketball starts next month. Get on board. Sign up at mybookie.ag. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit as well. Mybookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, first best bet segment of the year for NBA Pub Hub. It can be one of your futures. It could be either the baseball or the football game tonight, whatever you want for this best bet segment. We'll start with you, Skee. Best bet.
I'm doing a little bit of line shopping. Let me go after. Let me go last.
Yeah, Bills Mafia. Bills Mafia -6. That's the only bet I got today. That's the only bet I'm gonna cash today. Bills Mafia -6. Good money.
There you go. Bills -6. There you go. Best bet against Tennessee. Monday Night Football, NFL. Trot Wham. Best bet. What do you got?
I'll go to it. Dennis Schroeder, 6th man of the year, plus 2,200. There it is.
There you
go. Man, were y'all talking shit about this cat last year? Now you guys are all loving this dude. I mean, okay. I like the fact that he got a lot to play for though, because he definitely dropped the bag. He don't come out hungry. But yeah,
Come on now. Come
There
on
we
now.
go. Good stuff. I'm just being told we've got, speaking of, I mentioned college basketball is starting next month. We've got Maxwell Smart. I mean, honestly, this guy's
Maxwell.
knowledge of college basketball is off the charts. It's amazing. He knows every player, and even the smallest school, he knows, who these players are, how good they are, how bad they are, how good and bad the teams are going to be. It's unreal. The amount of work and effort and time he puts into college basketball is insane. But that's going to be good for everybody watching because he's going to help you win. And Maxwell Smart has his top 25 college basketball betting show tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Pub Sports Radio. It's not too early, guys, to start thinking college basketball. It's going to be here in a couple weeks. So check that out. Maxwell Smart's in one of my top, 2 or 3 people outside of me, of course, but that I trust when it comes to college basketball every single season. He's that good.
Small
He
schools,
knows
man.
his stuff. Maxwell Smart, college basketball show tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. Make sure if you're interested in college hoops, getting ready for the season, make sure you check that out for sure. All right, Skee, time is up. Decision time.
I've been trying to stall for you, brother.
Hey, no, I just saw Avery Bradley. Lakers picked him up off the waivers. So we'll see what he looks like.
Yeah, I was surprised the Warriors cut him.
Yeah,
I was too.
He's
That's
still
a good little
useful in the
pickup.
right spot. Oh,
Yeah, it's a nice pickup. I like it.
Yeah, it's another non-shooter. It's another non-shooter for you guys. Fits right
guy
in.
that can't shoot the three-pointer, right?
So you guys gonna be one hell of a defensive team. Shit.
Hey, y'all know who Dutch is on tomorrow night. But my best bet, if you guys can help me out, I looked at Derrick Henry rushing yards, and the number that I see right here is 98.5. I just was trying to make sure I couldn't get a better number than that. But even at that number, I think it's a good bet for a few reasons. One, he's averaged 101.3 yards per game since the beginning of the 2018 season. If you want to look at his last 14 games, it's closer to 100. Last 40 games, it's closer to 120. And I think I heard the coach say getting Derrick Henry the ball gives him a better chance of winning. So combine that with that's pretty much their only chance tonight of winning the game. I like Derrick Henry over 98.5. And he's had
go ahead.
He's had more than 100 yards his last 5 games. So I see it very doable tonight.
And because my book that I use most, Skee, has got a better number, we'll give you the better number, 94.5.
Oh,
wow.
Nice.
At the book.
Yeah, I got 97 on bet
Yeah.
MGM minus 105, 97 and a half.
Yeah,
Okay.
Exactly. We'll give you the good number, Skee. It's
yeah.
special little, unfortunately, it's a book that's not open to the Canadian residents, so or American residents, I should say. So, but 94.5 is there. So 94.5, 98, it's in that range. So make sure again, shop around.
Yeah, man. In my Dutch voice.
Shop around. Yes, for that. So Derrick Henry over 94.5 rushing yards. We'll go with that for best bet for us, Skee Profit. And my best bet for I'm going to go with that's interesting. I'm not going to go with one of the futures. I'll go with something for tonight. Let's go with the Bills team total. All right, let's do that. 30.5. I think it gets there. 31. I mean, I think they're good for 31 in this game with that offense. So Bills team total over 30.5. Best bet for me tonight. And that'll wrap up this edition of the show. First edition of NBA Pub Hub in the books. We're back tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. We got TNT, right? Season opener doubleheader tomorrow night. Looking forward to it. We've got Nets and Bucks playoff rematch, and Golden State and the LA Lakers in the second game. So excited to break down those games tomorrow right here on the NBA Pub Hub. And it's great to be back for another season. For Dutch, for Skee, for Trot Wham. This is Ian Cameron. Have a great night. Enjoy the game. Good luck. We'll see you tomorrow on the NBA Pub Hub on Pub Sports Radio. But before we wrap it up, we got to stay fresh. We got to stay blessed. And we got to keep putting this certain group of people to rest. And there's only one guy. There's only one guy on this show that can do that better than me just now. That's Dutch. We got to hear the outro.
Yeah, man. You know what it is. Hey, we back daily. Tell your friends and fam. We're going in. We're coming out with the motherfucking bag. Believe it. 4 p.m. Eastern daily. Show some love. Be sure to hit the like button. Share it to your friends and fam. So y'all stay fresh. Stay blessed. And let's stay putting these motherfucking bookies to rest. Yeah, man.